Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Some drama going down on the timeline last night between coach and player for Los Angeles Thieves. JKap versus Octane we're going to look at here in a couple of seconds. But also, Crimsix talking about the GAs right now potentially, how they're going to work with Vanguard, whether they're going to disappear entirely, calling out some pros that have used GAs deliberately to give themselves a competitive advantage. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do to help the YouTube gods know this channel needs to reach more people. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Bottom right hand corner, you guys know the drill. Firstly, this from Atlanta raid. Definitely they've been baiting about people potentially joining them the last couple of days. And well, this from Cellium Atlanta. Well, is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. He's going to be playing COD for them. This also has COD Gamepedia noticed though pretty astutely that on the Call of Duty League website, some sponsors have started to return, right? So we knew that most of the sponsors, well, a fair few of them, stepped away because of all the controversy in August with the lawsuit that was going on around there. And the USAA kind of stepped away and then, okay, they come back in again. It's kind of a classic thing. You distance yourself and then you, I don't know, you reestablish the relationship or whatever. Whether the other sponsors, like Astro, like the US Army or whatever, are going to make their return, that remains to be seen. But still something to keep your eyes on, no doubt, going forwards. And I guess if these firms think that Activision's kind of done their bit and it's absolutely fine, then we might see more sponsors coming in for the upcoming season as well. This also then from Breaking Point. So counting down the top 20 players of the Call of Duty Cold War season, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War season, number 20 goes to Drazah. Definitely think this was much deserved, honestly, to get the 20th spot right here. And this is a really, really good graphic that Lion Man made. So as you can see, on the left-hand side, you've got featured stats, attacking KD and controller 1.12, S&D KD in their wins. That is ridiculous at a 1.66. And I guess where they lose, he must be getting smoked. But the checkmate control KD at a 1.28, hardpoint KD on LAN at 1.04. So some really nice featured stats right here. And you can see everything as you can see. And of course, on the top right, you've actually got ranking breakdown. So I think I'm included under like content maybe, but I had him maybe at like 17th, I think actually. I had him quite high here, to be honest, because I think he deserved it really with what he did this season in terms of flexing, pretty much running any single role that he was able to. But yeah, you can kind of see the ranking breakdown between everyone. So really, really nice stuff, to be honest. I think Drazah deserves number 20. The plan, I believe, is to do 2 of these every day until Vanguard's release, and then we should be about right to, well, getting the number 1 out there just in time for Vanguard to come out, and well, then we can kick off, of course, another season. This I thought was pretty interesting though, right? So as Drazah says, you know, Jesus Christ, checkmate control KD at 1.28. Do not challenge this guy on checkmate, that is for sure, but only a 1.05 overall in control. Says JKap, what were you even doing on the other maps, bro? We're looking like Seattle, going 1-8 on Garrison. Zach, that's not right, man. You know, this cap guy's out of control. So definitely throwing some shots, I suppose, the way of Seattle. And of course, speaking of Seattle, someone who was on Seattle last year comes into the discussion. As Kenny says, you know, that's not right. Word to Drazah himself. Definitely not. Maybe if my coach could teach me how to play it, I would do a little bit better, right? To say, okay, JKap should have done a better job, right? It teach me how to play control. And as Octane says, you know, Jesus, Cap, do something. Oh, look, the captain of last year's worst control team in the league decided to chime in. Didn't you get thunderclapped out of the league for dropping 0.6s, right? Because of course, JKap was on the up to giving Los Angeles roster during Modern Warfare, but got kicked out of that team for, I'm pretty sure he got dropped for Chino. It's such a crazy roster they had because they had Chino and Gujo on the bench. Anyway, they ended up dropping JKap and he became a coach in the end. And JKap fires back with this final pretty entertaining remark. And in the 2 years I've been out, you haven't gotten any closer to me on that prize money list. Yo, you woke up hella hostile today. Get a grip, says Octane. So yeah, pretty funny exchange really. And I mean, yeah, it seems like these two are going to get along like a house on fire next year. But you know, we'll see, right? I'm sure JKap is already preparing what potential bench moves he wants to make if they have to make some changes next year. I thought I'd kind of, well, not exactly fact check this, but I thought it was kind of entertaining to look at right here, the top 100 console players. You guys can just about see it on the left-hand side. JKap right now is at $700,000 earned, and you can see, of course, he's now retired for a couple of years, never played Black Ops Cold War, played a little bit of Modern Warfare, but didn't really play too much of that game. Of course, most of his money came in Black Ops 3, winning the World Championship in that game. It was a $2 million tournament at the time, so not too bad. An Octane down here, you'll find him in 36th place, 400,000, so also not too bad, but again, Octane's clearly got quite a long way to go to catch all the way up to JKap right here. We're not making too many infringements on that as it seems right now, at least on what Cap was saying right here. Then at number 19, it goes to Neptune, going from Halo to Call of Duty. Never slowed down, as you can see. I'll just bring this up on screen if you guys want to check the entire thing out. Content, I mean, I'm just looking at kind of where, I guess content is me and a couple of other guys, put him at just under 20, so I thought that was about fair enough, really. So yeah, 19th goes to Neptune, and I think this list is pretty decent, all things considered, to be honest. Well, I'll keep you guys updated over the coming days, but yeah, definitely, I love these little graphs right here, which show like where he is in proportion to the other players in the league. Beautiful stuff. So last night on the flank with Crimsix and Clayster, there was a load of entertaining things discussed, but I wanted to dive into the gentleman's agreements that are, well, we imagine going to come up at some point next season. As soon as the game comes out, there's always talk, okay, what needs to get banned from competitive play, but what kind of attachments aren't going to technically get banned, but maybe should get gentleman's agreement limited by the pro players, they decide, okay, it's too good, we're not going to use it or whatever. Now, GAs have been a big discussion in the last couple of titles. Everything was getting GA'd last game. Now, whether that will happen again, of course, we don't really know. Auto Sprint was one of the big ones in Black Ops Cold War that was effectively GA'd out of the game because Crimsix thought that even the Neptune was using it at the start of the year. He still reckons he probably was, but he kind of forgives Neptune in the sense that maybe he wasn't told by his team that he shouldn't be using it or whatever the case may be over there. So anyway, still, GAs are a big discussion. It seems like in this title, Auto Sprint is actually going to be automatically disabled on the CDL player accounts, which is what Crimsix and Clayster talked about just before this clip I'm about to share. But Clay says basically that last year, because like, you know, Slasher and Accuracy, that being Austin and Lamar that it would go on to describe, were not on starting teams really for, well, at least for the middle portion of the season onwards, then the players that generally decide the gentleman's agreements, those type of guys, like, you know, weren't actually getting involved, right? So the GA chat kind of died. Therefore, will GAs even be a thing this year? Maybe not. But then Crimsix goes on to say, look, these GAs that always come into play are made very much deliberately to help out some of these rosters that are struggling.
You want it? Or Porter, because you seem a little flustered, or you
no,
still like...
No, I want it. I just want, no matter what though, I want everyone to be on the same.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
Some people don't even like it.
I think, Tom, the way the teams are set now, though, like if you actually kind of sit there and kind of do the whip count, like the votes on how it might go down, I think it might stick if you see how people are spread out this year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I have no idea. I'm curious to see what you guys do.
Dude,
I'm
curious
if you guys play with it or
what goes
not.
on with the state of the game, bro. The GA, like I said it in a tweet, just kind of joking around, the GA committee literally died last year. And a lot of those players are back on starting rosters, like the people who were always talking for their teams, you know, the leaders, like the teams like, you know, Austin, Lamar, you know, they're all like kind of... Even last year, there was only like 2 or 3 people that weren't on starting rosters, and that entire chat died. And so obviously we're gonna have to start it up again for the beginning of this year, but that might be chalked, bro. It might just be.
I hope it is chalked, bro. I want to see snipers back. I wouldn't mind seeing ATS in, but I don't know. The only reason why I hate like not playing with ATS is because like casuals who are watching are probably wondering why they're not on ATS, or
Dude, what I
probably
can't
think
stand
they're
about the GA dude is like when teams are not. Things are not going well, rather than let's get better guys. It's let's get something GA to change the meta, the dynamic.
Yeah, sometimes it was OD.
Let me
people who disagree with that in the pro community, go yourself, because you know for a fact that's true, dude. Anyone who says that's not true, suck my dick. Okay.
So this is Clayster says back in August, GA committee is dead, anything goes next year. So whether they'll be back in force, who knows? Or whether anything kind of does go next year, that remains to be seen. But also Crimsix's point I thought was very interesting, which I think is very obvious really to a lot of fans that watch the scene. But like let's say a team is really good for a vast majority of the year, then some sort of change comes into play. Let's say like there's a balance update, and one of the weapons that just becomes really good, and all of a sudden some of these other teams are using this new weapon and having a lot of success with it. The team that's been dominant for quite a while isn't going to be happy about that and is probably going to decide, okay, hang on a second, this weapon's way too strong, we got to get rid of it. Kind of you could argue how the Uzi was during Modern Warfare, right? When people were using the MP5, the Uzi came on the scene and some people were using it to good success, and then the pros were like, okay, no, we don't want this, let's just get rid of it, right, to maintain our advantage, which and if you can get the majority of the teams to do that, and 7 out of the 12, then all of a sudden like you've got a GA that's gone through, and you've kind of got something banned deliberately, which might be perfectly valid and viable and balanced, but just because it's not something your team was using, that's, you know, something you decided to try and get rid of, maybe to good success. So I think a lot of other teams in this boat, right, because maybe you don't have a good sniper on your team or something, you're more likely to try and get the snipers GA'd than if you do have a very good player with the sniper rifle on your team. So that's really the problem with GAs in general, that everyone's biased. And Crim says that that's really how it's been for a very long time. Clayster kind of echoed those opinions as well, but maybe we won't get any GAs next year. I think that really I'm just hoping snipers come back. If snipers come back, then you know, it is what it is. And some other GAs that make for some entertaining discussion, to be honest, most of the time at the very least. This also from Salvation's Elite. A big discussion happened yesterday regarding who are the oldest players in the entire league. Of course, Crim and Clayster are leading and up 29-28. Pretty remarkable stuff there. Slash is actually 27, which I thought was I thought he was older than I expected him to be. Scump then in 4th, then John in 5th. These are of course players on expected rosters for next year. Then Accuracy, then Attach at 7th. Pretty sure as we'll look at in a second, he said he was 6th, but I mean, I think John maybe snuck into that list because he's not confirmed confirmed onto a team yet. Then Felony, then Octane. I mean, I'm kind of crazy to think the 15th oldest player in the league is only 23. But even some of these guys, the likes of Huke is only like 21 or something, like TJ is only like 22, which is insane how long those guys have been around the scene. This was the original list here on the Reddit from Dylan's with Clayster, and well, Clayster being the oldest many are, of course, and Scump the oldest SMG player at the present time, and as attached to that's pretty wild that Advanced Warfare champs when he won the World Championship, when Attach, I'm pretty sure Attach is still the youngest player to ever win champs at 18 years and 2 months or something back in Advanced Warfare, and that was over 6 years ago now. That's honestly insane to think about, really. This I thought was kind of funny, actually, that people were talking about on the Reddit, that Simp was kind of having a go, of course, now signed to Seattle Surge, and the people were talking like, this guy's conflict resolution is a 0 out of 10. But I thought it was kind of entertaining, really. So there's some discussion between Sib and Fire about some sort of stuff here, and Sib isn't very happy that, I mean, I think people used to call him Sibilance, right? And that, I think, was his name for a time, to be honest. But now he's Sib, and it's Sib, and it is what it is, right? And anyway, so Dante says right here, now, no BS, I saw Gersh IRL, fool said he was trolling on Twitter, no beef, you know, boy, like, what's he even talking about? I don't really know how to translate this stuff. But Gersh is like, you know, what did I even do? Of course, the social guy for the flank and the New York side. And anyway, no shot, this is what he was mad about. Literally an honest mistake because he used to go by that name. So people used to call him Sibilance, but now he's just called Sib, right? And there's this thing right here from back in, I guess, April, when he's saying, you know, nowhere on media with my Sibilance, it's Sib nowadays. Like, he's not very happy because, you know, he screwed up his name or whatever. And I found this, you know, funny video from 2020 here from your boy with, you know, when Sibilance got kicked from FaZe and then he rejoined. But anyway, that's kind of what people used to be calling him back in the day. But Sib doesn't seem particularly happy about this mistake, as he says, you know, it's a mistake. You've been that name for an entire season. I've always gone by Sib, never had a season where it hasn't. So, you know, fair enough. But I guess some people used to calling that. So an honest mistake, I imagine. But I did think it was kind of funny that this became such a big deal on the timeline. Nobody's mad. Just don't come on to me being friendly when you did something I asked you not to do very nicely. So I don't really get it, to be honest. But I thought I'd bring this up for you guys regardless. This also that the flank tweeted out kind of that, well, another part of this video that where Crimsix was going around, oh, Ricky Stacy, baby. And yeah, just having a good time really on it. Well, one of these events way back in the good old days. And well, this also just to finish things off with from Hitch. I thought this is kind of crazy. Not really sure if this is some sort of PC mod for Modern Warfare, the original Call of Duty 4, and this of course Modern Warfare 2. But you know, crash like some sort of tropical versions of these old school maps. I wonder what they'll do, or whether they'll try and take some of these World War II maps and maybe liven them up a little bit here for Vanguard. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells the YouTube algorithm this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.